Good morning, everybody. A little late here, but let's get going. So, markets broke lower Friday. We all know that. Interest rates went up, oil went up, inflation, and maybe no rate cuts. Slower theme of last year, I guess. Last year was like 6 rate cuts, 3 rate cuts, no rate cuts. Okay, here comes rate cuts. And we'll see what happens. So SPX, starting out with SPX, we usually don't. Um, a recap of last week, we talked about how things were contracting and markets were getting ready to move, probably. 20 and 50 tight together. The pivot highs and the pivot lows getting a bit closer together. Um, and Friday, on a closing basis, the S&P broke through this neckline. And this head and shoulders top, a little double-sided right shoulder there, and breaking down. And so now prices should continue to go lower. I think they're a bit lower this morning. Um, yeah, you can see the futures here. Uh, anyway, let's do this. Get rid of our major support line. And support has been violated. You can see the top strike now is today. I got to get to SPY. But downside target, initially, unfilled gap. Then down here. From there, you know, it could get quite a bit more ugly. And who knows what transpires in the coming weeks. But there you can see there's another void down here. And as I expand this, there's another one. So this is the trouble, if you will, with strong markets. They don't leave any, or they leave few reference points in their path behind the strong moves. And these areas here on the other side of what's directly to the left typically don't have much of an effect because they're so far in the past. They've been used as reference points, as you can see here. On the way up, it stalled, topping tail, and then continued to go higher, right? Which creates a void along with time. Absolutely, Robert. All right. So voids are created by momentum moves in time. So these moves up, right? These strong moves up and this vertical move up creates the voids, right? Momentum move void, momentum move void. And then over time, as prices move away from those reference points, they become even less effective as reference points. This is really common sense as you start to think through it. It's like, and I'll make an exaggerated example. You go back to the correction after 2000 and NASDAQ going down 90 something percent and then consolidating for, I don't know what it was, 10 years or whatever. And then things start going up. Those people that bought and got caught in the downdraft there from 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So we look to the left, we look at, everybody looks at support and resistance and how way they're going to do it. But you got to bring some common sense to this technical analysis stuff. You know, Otherwise it just leads to massive confusion, which most people are with, the indicator-based methodology. So these are the strikes for today. Let me just grab this. And so I don't know where it's going to get today, but I figured this unfilled gap is going to be the first stopping point. Likely to be. It's there. Just like any reference point that we look at, again, look at how far away it was in the past as to how effective it may be. You've got this large topping pattern. And so now this isn't that far away, so it could be a stall point. But let's see where the spiders are at this moment relative to that. And so they were lower. Oh, we're right into the gap fill. Look at my cursor, right, where it began to stabilize. gapping right down onto that unfilled gap. This looks like some kind of bad tick, I would assume, and now it's starting to roll a little bit. So just chopping around here. Now the weekly chart is ominous looking. Strong word, but it's still in an uptrend. But you had this pullback and a bottoming tail bar, and it triggered up, and now we got a nasty thing down. And I mean, just expecting it to go down here is the least, that we can expect for a pattern like this would avoid and a failed buy setup on a weekly time frame. So we put our biases in perspective, and then we see what's going to happen. Um, these resistance areas, I'd look as to Friday's high. So as it came down where it is here, it's unlikely to get back to Friday's high. Let me just go back to SPX for a second. Now that I see where this is, give or take, right at the top of the green bar, and get a view as to where these strikes are at the top of the green bar in this gap to get to here. You hear my voice, not totally out of the question. There's no economic report today, so there's nothing to deal with. Why am I looking at that? Is there some news item that could propel the markets all the way back up there? Well, there's nothing as far as economic news. So I don't think it'll get up there. It's down here. Probably the one to start with. All the way down here today? I think not. It's even further away. Well, I would say those strikes are about, close to equal distance, from where the market is right now. We'll see where it opens, but about equal distance. So um, this being below major support, you've got a much stronger line of defense. It's into this gap fill here. And this will be something interesting to watch, is that most of the times, you know, buyers, step in on the gap looking to fill the gap. And if it can't fill this gap, meaning gapping down from Friday's close, if it can't get up there in 20 minutes or so, I'm going to view that as being a bearish sign. But in either case, I think unlikely it'll get to either of those strikes today. Right? Closing under the 50, institutions looking at that close under the 50. Qs closing under the 50. 20 is rolling over, gapping down to a pivot low. You can see on the daily chart, and some support down there. There is some support, so it's violating this initial support that I had marked off from last week. And, things are down not a tremendous amount because they've been flailing back and forth, erratic. But from the start here down to here, it's down a relatively significant amount in a short amount of time. So it is reasonable to think that there could be some stabilization. And I'm looking over at my weekly chart now, and I see the 20 MA. So the 100 MA on the daily chart is aligned in this area. Just looking at the 5-minute. So even if it goes a bit lower as it comes down into this area, it's likely to get some stabilization there for, the moving average, the pivot, and so on. Transports held up pretty well compared to others. They didn't break down, but they led the way down. So we'll see how much they participate or the lack of. Industrials broke down. This is bearish stuff. I mean, we talked about it last week in the room, talked about it in the newsletter this weekend. In that, this is a highly reliable pattern, meaning an extended move down, a wide range bar, a pivot, a retest, a reversal. This is a highly reliable pattern historically to go up and attack the 50 or maybe a little bit more, and it couldn't get off the mat. And now it breaks down. That's bearish. And to think that this major support is going to hold, I think not. I don't know where this is, this morning, but here's another void below. The 200 MA should be a given with a situation like this once it breaks those lows. All right. So what's driving things here? As always, interest rates, moved up. They certainly look like they're headed to 5%. That's the 10-year. And if that continues higher, when it's just jiggling around here this morning, we do have a wide range bar on the daily chart after a few days up. So it would make sense in the short term that it would stall. So maybe that helps the market stabilize for a bit. The 30-year moving on up, right? Down a little bit this morning. So that's not putting pressure there. Crude oil broke out further and it's moving up this morning. So more inflation, a little bit more gas being thrown on the fire. You remember that, Dan? I bet you watched that show religiously. I used to watch it a few times. Yeah, it was funny. All in the Family. You remember All in the Family? 1970s. I remember being in high school. Did you hear what they said on All in the Family last night? That's crazy. And everybody loved it. Anyway, go watch the reruns of that if you're not familiar with that show. You'll laugh. All right. Crude oil moving up, interest rates moving up. Not a good sign for the equity markets. Gold down a little bit. It just can't get the momentum restarted, as it was going here, and it's just been continuing to jiggle. So maybe not bad that it's down here a little bit this morning. It's near this high to see what it's going to do. Just not ready yet for a high probability setup. Silver's down, just whipping around again. The indecision here. These are just patterns of indecision. Yes, and everything's just pretty much a mess. Expecting things to go lower. You see the small caps, which high hopes. There's such talk that we're going to do better. Semiconductors actually holding up a little better than others. Nvidia. I guess we have to wait for Nvidia to crack wide open, and everybody will get a little more bearish, and we'll start seeing some put buying, which we don't have yet. And that's, when I start thinking it's going to get worse, these are one of the things besides just the breakdowns across the board that makes me think it's going to get worse. There's complacency here. They should be thinking, holy crap, things we're doing so well. Head and shoulders tops, they're breaking down. They can't get off the mat. We better buy some protection. And they're not. And I know historically, they're going to sooner or later. And when they do, that's when we're going to know things are getting closer to being able to buy things again. When we go back to the price patterns. All yours, Dan. Dr. Copper. Yes, Dr. Copper. Even copper. Copper just whipping around here. It's that resistance.
I think it means Dr. Pepper.
Someone actually talked about buying, I think, FCX in the room last week, and Alex pointed out that the futures were up at major resistance, so didn't support that buying.
Greg talking about other bombs going off in the market and so forth. I heard Kramer talking this morning about Biden doing another bombshell. We said every day, what's going to be the daily FU. And he said there was some 200-page report that the government issued that threw a total bomb into the AI industry, trying to restrict it to, just like 14 countries, even though 120 countries might want it. And he said they didn't let nobody respond to it. And Kramer's the one that said, this is just a big FU bomb to the industry. So I I don't know anything about this report other than what Kramer said, but I'm thinking that's could be part of today's ugliness too. I don't know. So yeah, Nvidia down and so forth. We only have. I'll go through my normal routine here. Bark is the only earnings one. We actually bought this on this turn, and we sold it at a profit, but that's we know when we're playing with junk, we don't know which ones are going to go to space and which ones are take your money and they're gone. So that one, no interest. ASO positive Barron's article, and it's gapping down. I have an alarm at 58.20. These are all just miscellaneous news items here. There's none of them are earning. Well, could be some earnings releases. Like Boot, I think maybe had a pre-earnings. That's a nice gap. That's a nice gap. I'm going to put that here. CLMT. I forget the news, but that's a nice gap. Let's see, Delta 20 here. Let me see what he has. Yeah, I actually Delta 20 sold $10 puts on this thing on Friday. I forget how much I got, like 14 cents or something or other. Yeah, Lula's on my list. I don't know what the news is, but anything gapping up is relative strength. And so I did, this UNH sector, I'll get to that in a second. Well, I'll get to it right now. Yeah, there was some news about, the percent Medicare is going to pay or whatever. I just can't. I don't know what Biden is friggin' doing every step other than trying to blow things up. So I don't know if he has his hand in this at all, but this sector's moving up. So that's what's holding the Dow up so much. As you know, the Dow is price based, not market cap. So this thing being up 14 is helping the Dow. So I posted Charlie India as a long based on these other sector ones moving. Look, CVS. I mentioned Friday. I was tempted. Look at that beautiful 15-minute base also. And chasing now. Humana up, but no pattern. That's why Charlie India was the best one. Raul Array. Yeah, that's on my list. Yeah. I don't know, $2. Well, I think it's on my list, maybe not. It's at weekly resistance, but it could be one of these little sub $10 things. So yeah, I'll put it on the list. Set an alarm. It's gapping down a penny, so it's 215 or 216. Where did I leave off? ITCI. I think, what's the news on that? It's being bought. But man, somebody knew something on Friday. That's an igniting gap, an igniting bar, and now the news is coming out. See, when you see pictures like this, I mean, the SEC should send a letter to every single person who bought, X percent shares, who spent over $100,000 of exposure. How did they know that? A Nitra alarm gap breakout. Well, gap's too big. Shoot, that was on Alex's list. Closing breakout. But let's C1. I don't know why it's on my list. Must be some type of news. LPG, we are in this already. This is one of my alarms that went off, so I moved stop break even. Let me go through my other alarms here now. Clove. Should I put out an order pre-market? I'm going to cancel it because I thought it was gapping over the entry. So that we're going to buy call options on this over these highs, but now it's coming in, so I'll probably wait 5 minutes. Oh, Doffel, we have a put spread, and I said Friday. It looks absolutely horrible, hanging on by a thread. So I said, let's give it, 15 minutes and then kill it if it takes out the low. Deck alarm went off. I think I have that as a call spread. Starbucks alarm. Robert, it's individual patterns, but yeah, that's why I'm gonna wait 5 minutes. Actually, I'm gonna tell him that exact thing. Starbucks, okay, gap down and now it's back up. So let me reset the alarm. And Monday mornings, as you know, I'm going to be busy as can be with new alarms. We're very heavily short in our open positions. So I tighten the stop on Oracle. We got a couple other directional shorts. Oracle was gapping down, so I just tighten it over this pivot, just go into trail mode. Lauer alarm, ADP alarm. These are short new ideas, DLR, corn. So corn had a breakout, daily, weekly. Go alarm, GO. Greg, I think that you told me to set an alarm on that, or maybe you set it in the green room. I forget. Vittle. Yeah, yeah, I like it, but let's see, that's a directional. It's not really unique per se. So that would be a good one, Grimy, if it can rattle around and then do a 30-minute high.
Deck is moving down, Dan. I think we talked about a call spread on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I forget. Yeah. So
I don't have any real interest to buy this net for sure, but Domino's Pizza, the only thing that I have an alert on this thing is back on 11:15, news was that Buffett was taking a considerable position in it, and it went up a little, broke back down. It's sitting on some major support here. It's got a void below, but you figure a guy like that's going to add to it at some point. You must believe something good about it. Not that he's always right. DPZ.
well, look at boot bottom right. Nice. Whoa. All right, Clove is a go now, if filled. So I'm gonna put my order out at 74. And we're not gonna get filled because it got a little spready and the stock's moving. WBA alarm. Oh, that's for me. I got short puts, the tens, so I don't care. Let me just reset my alarm lower. Diamonds we gave as a call spread. And let's change this now to under the low, 1451. Chewy is tanking here after gapping over the entry. Yeah, I had to check if I had a position already. I think I had puts and I took my money on Friday. Yeah, I saw that thing up pre-market, and I looked at the pattern, and I didn't see that nasty collapse on Friday. CSGP. Um, this was a Sam idea. My alarm went off, but I'm not going to do anything. All right, Chewy. Chewy, we can do over the high now, 36.79. Or wait, maybe was it a put spread or directional? Directional. Okay, so let's change the entry. 36.79. Use new low. Diamond's ripping here. But we skewed. UNH still up 18. Costco, low alarm. We did put spread on Friday. It's an early alarm, but that doesn't look good. Our stop is still $10 away, but I don't we're in, what does Greg call it? Intelligent hope mode. It's on support. Look at all those bars, but don't like the breakout failure. D-Dog call spread, Zulu Sierra. We did a put spread. Don't like that gap down. NUE up alarm. I told you I'm going to monitor this for a few days for a bottoming pattern. BMO low alarm. I mentioned that was relative strength, but look at XLF. Well, I mean on the XLF on Friday, but no, that's thrown in the towel now. We did a half lot. I didn't get filled. I didn't hear a bell. No, I'm not filled. It's 76 by 90. My bid is 74. Kava call spread. I posted pre-market. I have no idea where the juice bar is going to be. 120, 125. But this one's typically where there's nowhere near the premium I want, so cancel that. Um, it looks like it could be a directional short on the daily weekly. It's a bear 1, 2, 3. Stop has to be Friday's high. MDU alarm, that's a clean hit. Short. That's actually the first clean hit of the day. I'm still going through these that gap to under it. LPG. Index. We're short. I hope it's a low alarm. It is. Let's tighten the stop now. How about 76, 72? No, that's where it is. All right, cool. Q spiders look bad on the 5 and 15. That's ugly. That has room to fall. Yeah, day trade. Next, I didn't have devil not hit yet. I don't know what that means. I did it right when I told people I did. Look in Telegram. I did it like 3 minutes after. 3 minutes after the open. I don't understand the devil comment on this on the X. It's fine if it triggers. All right, NWS alarm. All right, so that gapped under the entry. So let's do 5-minute low, 29.70. Oh, okay. Okay. I totally didn't pick up on that. Other shorts box. We got break even, D dog, break even, IMAX, break even, NDAC we know about, Oracle we know about, Lit we know about, and Bill we know about. We're in this 8216. All right, buyers just stepped up there across the board. Um, 30-minute high, we could look for zero DTEs. Yeah, I have this posted, but my alarm didn't go off. Yeah, so now it's good to go. But
What
yeah,
is that, Dan? What's the trade?
short.
Hmm.
Yeah, I asked you over the weekend and you said okay. I asked you, was it down too much? But
Went sideways for a week. Got plenty of room to fall.
right, but it's also starting to time it if we get any bounce in the market. We don't want to get I'm trailing stops on all our shorts. I don't want to get put on a bunch of new shorts and have them run in our face. All right, so IRTC, let's cancel. I'm so glad that didn't trigger. It was gonna be a half lot because I knew that's a big old bar, but sure glad it didn't trigger. Let's see our S alarm. Um, that's a clean hit. Alex, that was yours, I believe. Um, well, I don't have it as a directional. Oh, I did not post this one. Yeah, no, here it is. It's a put spread 175, 170. Let me check the put department. These things are spready, but it's good to go if you're filled. Yeah, nice little continuation, little buy setup pattern there. I'm still going over these alarms that went on pre-market. Wow, look at EIX. That's the utility. Oh, we had travelers. Um, travelers I had as a short, but I don't like that it's at the 200 right now. Let's cancel. Or wait, was this a call spread? Uh, Allstate was a call spread. Travelers, I do not have a trade. I just had an alarm. Okay, so there's nothing to adjust or cancel. It was Allstate. Allstate, it gapped under, so let's cancel that. I wonder how many billions and billions of dollars Biden's going to give Gavin to clean up his mess before Trump gets there. That's not going to be as generous, in my opinion. All right, VFS will be a naked put. Same with plug. These haven't hit yet. Same with GEV, CRS. That was a call spread. Starbucks. Oh, I reset the alarm. Soon. Yeah, big old topping pattern. So I would just kind of expect a, like 25% bounce maybe, but 25% bounce would still be nice. So sure. All right, Rocket Lab, let's cancel.
Yeah,
Diamonds.
bar by bar, longs on the market above these highs. We're scalpers.
Mm-hmm.
Wide range bar 3 bars ago, inside bar, consolidating here.
You got any zero DTE puts you're looking at?
I don't know about spiders, yeah, but if they're far enough away, always the problem. Are they far enough away?
As you know, we can do it either way. We can look at the chart first or the premium first. Don't matter because you got to do them both. So 570s, 24 cents naked, 570s. Oh, Doppel actually, so that little gap down was wrong. Okay, so cool. We can go back to the original stop. which is under 175, which still is pain, but not as bad as if we're gapping under it. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I think I think that's the low for the morning. Yeah, Oki. Yeah, nice reversal. I like Oki better for a new entry and still run a lot.
If you're an active trader, Brett, I don't see how, well, SPX is one thing, but I think as an active trader, you got to trade in the first 30 minutes. You could say, depends on it bar by bar, what sets up, you know? So when I said scalper long, you're looking at my charts. I mean, just look at the bar by bar. You can have general guidelines as to what you do, but each day can be different. I think, this thing, as I explained pre-market, it came down several days. It's down a lot. It's gapping on a short-term basis. It's like, okay, that could be an exhaustion gap. That's just a thought. And then look at the 5-minute chart. Green, red, it breaks the low, it flips back up again.
I
So
mean,
when I said that, it's like kind of like a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3s we like to see on a breakout, but okay, you got an exhaustion, a potential exhaustion gap, and now you've got a bar by bar on the 5 minutes suggesting it could go up to fill the gap.
I was hoping at first the the SPYs were spite the SPX was down over 45 points, and then I noticed that it got cut in half, and I'm like, shoot, I wanted a bigger gap down for a gap and snap. This little array that Raul on YouTube mentioned.
They all did it in different ways, And if you look at the futures on IWM, like it was basing. Anyway, I'll see if it can fill the gap here and get close to it.
If this array closes like this, we can buy it tomorrow. I'm going to do a little starter position here, bidding for it. What about Teradyne put spread? See if there's anything at 200 MAs, 127. VIX falling, obviously. Yeah, Greg, let's do the 125, 120, 50 cents.
On this TER, no,
Yeah.
yeah, it's below that support moving averages.
It just dropped while I was writing it up. Dude, you see that we're in. Oh no, we're not in it because of the gap. Yeah, we were supposed to buy call options on this. Okay, I'm getting caught up with all alerts now. I'll go through other pendings now. CDW is good to go. Over Friday's high. KNPK alarm. Relative strength, Alex. Hit my 61 alarm. Brothers is still fine if it triggers. Next. It's gonna trigger here in 2 pennies. Or in 1 penny. And what did I get filled on? Oh, array. All right. My bid. That took a long time to get filled.